Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 video for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking all about the unit on your screen here, how to build her, where you guys should be using her, and how to skill enhance her. Now this unit is from the Espa collab I Winter, and I'm having a great time using her. She's mostly a PvP unit. You won't really use her in PvE that much from what I've seen so far, but in PvP she's a very powerful unit and very fun to use. So that being said, let's talk about her skills so you guys can have a better idea about what she does in case you guys, kind of miss something when reading her abilities. Her S3, guys, Blackout, it is going to be a single target attack that will stun for 2 turns. So it is a 2-turn stun, pretty insane. To use this against a team without a cleanser, that unit is pretty much not going to be able to do anything and probably will not even get a turn off before they die. Also will increase CR of herself by 50%. And you're going to see that a critical hit will deal an additional 5k fixed damage, meaning this will go through all damage reduction effects, and this increased fixed damage will go up by 5,000 every time the skill is used, stacking up to 3 times. So this can do up to 20k damage of fixed damage. Pretty insane. It's pretty much one-shots unit if you can stack this high enough. Very powerful. You're going to see because of this, she's a very good CC unit, and also very good at, being strong in longer fights. Next, we have her S2, guys. It is a passive ability. At the start of battle and at the end of her turn, she'll gain stealth for 1 turn. And after the enemy uses a non-attack skill, so Conquer Releases S3 works, Meteor Calyx S3, Tien's S3, and so forth, she will cleanse herself fully and activate Level Up. Now, Level Up will grant her immunity for 2 turns and fully resets the cooldown of her S3. Also, you're going to see that the debuff, dispelling, and level up can only activate once every 2 turns once you Mulligore this. 2 turns, very quick cooldown for this, and you're going to see if you can actually get your S3 off at the start of battle, and then an enemy uses a non-attack skill, it'll reset the S3 again, and you get the stack very quickly. Very easy to actually stack up her S3 because of this passive. It won't really take, 5 turn rotations over and over. Because of her S2, you're going to notice that this S3 fixed damage buff will stack up super quickly. Next, we have her S1. It is a 40% chance to stun at +5 for 1 turn, and the increase effect chance to 100% if you actually soul burn this. Very good for controlling, right? Some people can run her on a counter build. Some people did test her out on it, but personally, I think speed build is just a lot better because you want to actually play around her S3 the most. So yeah. This unit, pretty powerful in PvP. I've been testing out in Arena offense. I have her in my Guild Wars and Arena defense team. Not because she's super good in defense, but mostly because people don't really know what she does yet and how to counter her. So that is a big plus. I think she's very strong. Now, how do you want to build her, guys? So, personally, I recommend speed set, and for secondary, I recommend HP or crit set, as you see here, because the only stats you really need on her are going to be HP, speed, crit chance, right? Defense is a bonus, effectiveness is a bonus as well, but for the most part, just play around her S3, actually stacking the damage, and all you need to do to activate the fixed damage is crit with it. So 100% crit chance, you don't really need crit damage, just be bulky enough to survive to get your S3 off a lot, and fast enough to get it off a lot as well. Now, her attack and crit damage stats don't really matter too much because, honestly, her abilities don't really do that much damage. Her S1 and S3 are pretty weak. The only thing that does damage from her S3 really is the fixed damage. The regular attack doesn't really do that much damage. So for that reason, I recommend speed set, so you cycle very fast, and also like crit chance set, HP set, defense set, so forth. Penetration set's not that good because it doesn't scale with fixed damage. So looking at my gear here, you can see this is the gear that I have. Nothing too crazy, I have her on some of my backup gear because I'm still testing her out. If she ends up being very good, I'll put her on more premier gear. But she is very nice because you can just put her on a crit chance necklace, and her crit chance is pretty much good to go as long as you have some other crit chance subs, right? HP percent ring over effectiveness I think is better, and yeah, very powerful unit. For artifact, guys, I have her on her own artifact. It's an increased crit chance boost, making it easier to gear. And you'll see after you use a non-attack skill, you'll grant a barrier equal to 45 per level for 2 turns. So it's 45 times 60, equaling about 2,800 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not doing the math. Super quick math. But every time you S2, you get a barrier, and you're in stealth. So it's very nice because it'll stop AoE abilities from knocking you out of stealth, right? So like Fallen Cecilia S3, right? Bellion S1, stuff like that. It'll prevent that from knocking you out of stealth. And the stealth is super strong because it makes her a lot more tankier than she already is if you build her on very high defensive substats. So I think this artifact is very good. You can also run her on pretty much any evasion artifact, would probably be good as well. Or even Silver Rain is very nice because when you activate your S2, you can attack buff people on your team. So it's very nice for supporting your team. I think overall, pretty decent unit. Definitely want to max her out because, her awakenings also are very important, and just by leveling up units you get tankier, right? And even the last awakening star is going to be speed. It's very important that you awaken her and max level her, obviously, because she's a damage dealing unit. Her imprint, guys, very, very strong. It is a imprint concentration for critical hit chance. This is probably one of the best imprint concentrations in the game because the value of this in terms of substat rolls from your gear is just way higher. So I definitely recommend, at least if you plan to use her a lot, that you actually get her to B, because the first imprint is worth way more, right? You're going to see the difference from no imprint to B is going to be 5.6. From 5.6 to 8.4 is like half of that from B to A. So the first imprint is worth a lot more. So I definitely recommend imprint concentrating her if you want to use her. She's very, very powerful. For specific stat guidelines, guys, speed, I think anywhere above about like 250 is okay. HP anywhere above 15k, and crit chance obviously 100%, and then effectiveness, defense, right, and stuff like that, that's really up to you. I personally recommend keeping your defense and effectiveness a little bit lower and stacking that into stuff like speed and crit chance and even HP. But I would definitely recommend aiming for at least like 901k defense, so she's not super squishy to regular abilities. Now talking about skill enhances. So skill enhances, guys, you're definitely going to want to get the cooldown on her S3 maxed out at +3. You don't really need the damage increase because that doesn't increase the damage of your fixed damage. It only increases the damage of the initial attack, and that does pretty dookie damage. It's pretty bad, so you don't really want to invest too much into that. Next level, her S2, obviously you want this turn cooldown. This is extremely important. 2-turn cooldown versus 3-turn cooldown is a huge difference. S1, I got the effect chance up. Honestly, you don't need to really mold this, but I like it because it just gives me extra chance to stun the enemy, and I personally do recommend getting this to +5 for that 40% over that 30%. Now, for what units she synergizes well with, people that have stuns she's very good with. People that can sustain her because she doesn't have built-in healing are very nice as well. So like any soul weaver like Diane, and just anything that can heal her like Ruel and stuff like that in longer fights. Also very good with like units that abuse stuns, such as Specimen Says and stuff like that. And like I said, you definitely want to pick her into situations where the fight will go on for a very long time. So for that reason, she's very good in arena offense and Guild Wars offense because those fights take forever. In World Arena, I wouldn't pick her, super early. From what I've seen, it's better to pick her later on if the enemy team picks a lot more tankier units and bruiser heavy units. And if the fight goes on forever and you stack up your S3, she's gonna start one-shotting units pretty easily. It's pretty OP. The problem is trying to get there, so you definitely have to build a team comp around her that can help her stall into the late game and actually pop off with her S3. I'm definitely gonna release a video in the future showing you guys how she looks like in PvP. I've been testing her out pretty frequently in arena offense, and she looks pretty good. World Arena, guys, I'll be probably posting some World Arena videos in the future featuring her, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.